Many people remain in a category of dreamers, go to the open house, go test drive the car.
If someone has a huge goal, how do you recommend?
That's why many people end up driving Toyota Corolla.
What's the best, most practical way to turn your dreams into reality? It's really going to change a lot of people's lives.
You are listening to the Dare Mastery Podcast.
Today, we're having a conversation with Yulia Dancourt. Yulia is an NLP Master Practitioner. She holds 3 degrees, and she's a co-author of a best-selling book, Activate Your Life. Yulia and I are also good friends. Even though we are very different in how we approach life, I've always valued Yulia's insights, and it's interesting that I'm very analytical and practical, and Yulia has a different perspective. She has this beautiful ability to connect logic with emotions. She sees things on a deeper level, and her insights often help me understand connections between things that otherwise I might miss. Because we're so different, we often draw very different insights from the same situations. And that's exactly why I wanted to have this conversation. Today, we're going to explore what really helps people to achieve their dreams. What's the best, most practical way to turn your dreams into reality?
So as Galyna liking to say, it's SOP for manifesting the dreams.
That's
in some
right.
way.
I love how it's put together. I find it interesting how, depending on the person, some people being in the same exact situations in life could achieve different results. For example, Tony Robbins, he's one of the most popular international motivational speakers. However, he grew up in a tough environment. He basically started as a janitor without college degree and went from there to being absolutely one of the most popular person in the world. However, there are millions of other people who could be in the same or similar situations, but this life didn't happen for them. So I want to dive into this, how it works, and we're going to try to figure out, what's the best approach for anyone who is listening to this to use it in their own life and hopefully make it better. What is it, do you think? Is it luck, talent, motivation, or something deeper? When you look at people who truly make their dreams come true versus those who struggle for years, what do you think is the real difference?
Number one, people who take action versus dreamers. And many times we both desire the same things, but the difference with you achieving something and another person don't is that you actually, and I know that about you and I love that about you, you take action instantly and immediately. So many people remain in a category of dreamers. They dream about something, but they keep thinking about it without taking action. If you want something, whether it's a car, a house, a trip, some new investment strategy, you jump on the opportunity and take action immediately, finding all the available information and trying it to your skin. So that means you're anchoring into the nervous system and you emotionally connect to things. That's why you're one of my dearest friends and also top achievers, because I know how fast in your world from wanting something into actually having it.
Wow, I didn't know that's gonna turn into me. Thank you for kind words. Like, how does any kind of person who's listening to this gonna turn this into reality? Like, how do you distinguish when you're dreaming about something and setting a real goal?
So, as I mentioned, the first thing is in SOP is to understand if you're dreaming about something, it's never going to come true. So, when you dream about something, first thing you need to anchor it. Meaning, if let's say if it's a car or a house, you go to the open houses, you go test drive the car, you understand how much per month you need to pay for it. You take steps towards owning it. Otherwise, it's remain a dream. But when you have too many unfulfilled dreams in your nervous system, the research says it leads to depression. So it's actually dangerous. So whenever you guys are dreaming about something, first and foremost, take action. And from that, if the dream is too large and you don't know how to achieve it, break it into smaller steps. For example, if let's accumulate certain amount of money and it appears to be too large, you need to break it per year, per month, per week and even per day to per hour. And this is a lot more achievable goal. So when you're breaking down something, it becomes a lot easier for the brain to cooperate and to achieve. And finally, it's emotional intelligence, emotional anchoring form, meaning that, let's say you want something, but you must emotionally connect to it. Meaning, for example, Serena Williams, when she was training to win US Opens, as she's been multiple winner, she's been visualizing and using those techniques that are used by biggest athletes all over the world. They're visualizing outcome. And by visualizing the same thing over and over again, it anchors in the nervous system as so if you already had it. As a result, the chances of you owning it is a lot higher.
Like several things you said. One thing, if I understood right, you said you gotta go and like touch the thing if it's a physical thing that you want to achieve.
Yes, if it's a car, you need to go and sit there with your ass.
You talk a lot about connecting goals to the nervous system, like how exactly it works.
It's a neuropsychological approach, neuroscience. When we anchor something on our cellular level, for example, let's say you want to have your own yacht. You get yourself a space in a yacht. I mean, let's say you get invited. You sit there and you imagining being there, imagining owning one. How does it feel owning one? So this kind of cellular response, what anchors your body to know what it is.
Interesting. Wouldn't it make you sad that you're sat on a yacht and then you go and you have to sit in your Toyota Corolla for the rest of the time until you have a yacht?
That's
Wouldn't it like kind of have sometimes an opposite effect as opposed to getting motivated? You start getting sad that you don't have that thing yet?
and that's not as sad. It's more called like jealous, right?
I guess so.
That's also another part why many people don't achieve their goals, because when you have something in your field, and I also learned it from some other extremely wealthy person, let's say if you own a mansion, it means in my field, I'm one step closer to owning one, because people in my field, my degree connections already have those items. If I start feeling jealous towards you, I'm kind of cutting it on an energetical level. I'm not letting myself have it. And that's why many people end up driving Toyota Corolla. I have nothing against Toyota Corolla. It's a great car.
It's
very
reliable.
It does not fit everybody, most people's dream. Let's put it this way. At least not in the United States.
Let's try to make this more practical. If someone has a huge goal, how do you recommend? Because you mentioned you put them in a smaller chunks or decompose
it's called,
them.
Chunking in NLP. The technique is called chunking. So you decompose the goal, you look at it from different perspectives. The first time when I went to Tony Robbins, and I wasn't even in Platts yet, I was sitting with some newly like group of people that were from Platts, and they were decomposed.
From what again?
Platinum membership.
Okay.
One, the inner circle. So they were sitting all together, and sometimes, let's say we make $10,000 per month, and we put $10,000. Let's say $5,000 is rent, $2,000 is food. They were doing the opposite. They were sitting down and it's like, okay, my dream apartment's gonna cost this amount of money. Then my trips budget is that, my food budget is that, my clothing budget is that. How much money do I really need to make per month in order to satisfy all my dreams? And first of all, you might realize it's not that much money you might need as you're thinking, might be less. But sometimes it's important to chunk. Okay, so if you need this much money, how do you get there? And you start thinking from the end goal, decomposing it backwards. It's basically going from point B to point A instead of going from point A to point B.
After the person visualized it and touched it, what it is, what's the point B, some goals they could take maybe longer time to achieve. Like how do you maintain momentum, motivation? Because on a day-to-day basis, it's not going to be all progress. There's going to be ups and downs. So how do you make sure you stick with the plan once you come up with it?
And it's a tricky part, especially right now in the culture where everything is so like faster paced, kind of in the culture of TikTok and Instagram. It's about discipline. It's really cultivating persistence in your nervous system, in your habits. That's why discipline is so important. That's why it's important that we wake up, we have our rituals, we do the bed. starting with being organized and disciplined person and understanding the why. Why do you want to own this car? What's the biggest meaning of owning this house? If usually, in order to understand your true reasoning why you want to do it, you need to ask it yourself 3 times. So, why do you want to own a house? Because it's beautiful and in a good area. But why you want to own this house? Because I'm gonna feel good about owning it. So what's special about it? Why you want to owning the house? Oh, because it's going to give me safety and security. So the third why is usually what's going to lead us to actually understanding, so what I'm truly looking is having safety. And that means that I would always be protected. And this is your biggest why. So when it's a couple years goal, it's about discipline, persistence, and understanding, I'm working towards my own security. I will all feel safe during once I have it. This is my biggest why.
Basically, by asking why several times, you're really getting to the bottom of the reason why that person needs it. And I guess also if they really need it. The real why is something not superficial, but something like that has much deeper value to the person.
Yes, it's in reality, it's about understanding yourself. I had a client a long time ago in my coaching practice, and that guy was thinking he wants to have a house, and his business didn't work at all. And they started working on the whys. What's happening really, he wanted to have a car instead of a house. The car was quite expensive as well, but he was able to secure money for the car within a week. And what happens after? As soon as he understood and stopped blaming himself for wanting a car when he should be wanting a house because it's a social pressure of having a family and providing the house for them, he was able to buy a car and buy a house within a few months. So this is kind of understanding yourself and understanding your reasonings. That sometimes our dreams are not come true because we should be wanting certain things. We're taught to be wanting certain things, but we don't really want them. So while we are seems to be doing everything on the physical level that makes us to be supposed to have achieved that, we haven't achieved it just because it's not our true calling.
So sometimes I think people achieve the things that they strive for. However, when they achieve them, they find that it didn't bring the satisfaction or fulfillment that they've been searching all along because they thought this is the goal they needed to chase.
Yes, and it's also fear of success and fear of failure. But let's say you want to have a big house and you're afraid of this at the same time. If you dream, I want to have like a 6-bedroom house, and then at the same time on subconscious level, yes, but what if something happens with my family? What if our investments didn't work out, or savings, or marriage doesn't work out, or tsunami comes and hits it? What am I supposed to do? So you're afraid of it, and you're not receiving it because you haven't done all the steps, but also you're afraid what's going to happen if you have succeeded there. And that applies to many things, to our career, to our marriage, to our life.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I also wanted to ask you a personal question, if you don't mind. What was one thing in your life once dreamed of and you thought it was impossible, but it came true?
Great question. Quite a few things, to be honest. A couple years ago, we were thinking about this house. And at the time, as we have committed to buy it, we got some career transformations, and all the W-2s that we had are not working anymore. There is absolutely no way to close the house. And the house had, at the time when everybody was shopping with 7% interest rate, had 2.25%. And in California, in Orange County, the real estate moves very fast. So the house waited for us for 6 months while we were basically resolving the W-2 situations and then putting together all the down payments and everything else. The house was still there waiting for us. And the probability for that to be happening with the interest rate that we got was nearly impossible. But for whatever reason, it just stayed with us.
So it sounds like there is an element of luck in this as well.
Yeah, but if we look at things, there is no such a thing as luck.
So it was designed by you think? Like it happened because of your effort, or do you think there was some kind of divine intervention into this plan?
I would ask you deeper questions. How do you know that your effort is not go in line with divine interventions. So sometimes you streamline the same things, and if it's meant to happen, you project it into the universe what you want, and the universe gives it to you no matter how impossible it would look.
Let's make it super practical. If someone is listening today, they had a dream, postponing it for years, what is the first non-obvious step they should take in the next 24 hours?
Sit down with a cup of tea or coffee. Reevaluate your life. What is your real point A? Many of us get confused with refusing to accept the reality and look at yourself from the perspective, okay, where I am right now. How much money do I make? Where I'm standing? What my relationship with myself, with others. So once you're understanding your point A, it's a lot easier to get to point B. Many people don't get to point B to their results because they fail to understand their point A.
First thing they need to do is they need to understand where they are.
Where they are financially, economically, spiritually, physically, emotionally. All of this is connected, really.
And what's the best way to do it? Do you get a pen and paper, or do you sit down with ChatGPT?
It's also different, cultures, ages, and things like this. I would say a year ago, 2 years ago, I would say just draw like a wheel and put together areas like wheel of life and grade yourself per area, meaning how's your health, how's your finance, how's your friendships, how's your hobbies, how's your basically all like loved life and things like this. Or, right now you can ask ChatGPT, give a good prompt, like, please evaluate my life, ask me all the questions. You can speak to ChatGPT for like half an hour, having morning coffee, you'll get all the results.
That's awesome. It's really cool that honestly all of these tools are available to us right now. I think it's really going to change a lot of people's lives if they're willing to use them.
If, yes.